On the morning of December 28, 1998, 200,000 copies of Myth Sailierdu, Soulblighter were on skids and on trucks moving across America, and Bungie had hours to catch them. A player overseas had uninstalled the game and lost files that had nothing to do with it. The software fix was so small it would fit in a 15 kilobyte download, and Bungie posted it 3 days later. It chased the trucks anyway. In 1998, a game reached stores through a physical pipeline, Myth, shipped on a disc, and that disc came from a chain of steps. A master was cut, copies were pressed at a replication plant in Atlanta, boxes were assembled, and pallets went out to distributors and retailers. Bungie was self-publishing, and the sequel was in demand. More than 140,000 orders taken by the middle of November. The team had already missed Christmas and was shooting for December 13th. Missing Christmas was survivable. The week after, it is the second biggest stretch of the year for buying games, and a December ship would put the game on shelves in time for a January 3rd advertising blitz. At 10 to 4 in the morning on December 10th, the 9th build ran without a hitch, and that became the Goldmaster. Missing a promised date exposed Bungie to penalties from its dealers and distributors, and co-founder Alex Seropian put the ceiling at $250,000 for a single retailer the size of CompUSA. December 28th was the day Myth 2 was scheduled to reach shelves. That morning, a call came in from an overseas publishing partner, a player, reportedly a woman, who had installed the game and later uninstalled it, found that the uninstaller had deleted files it should never have touched, files outside the game's own folder. Accounts differ on who first reported it and on the precise trigger. Jason Jones and a second programmer reproduced the problem and had a fix quickly. Understanding how bad it could be, took more care. The flaw was on Windows only, and it required an unusual, non-default way of installing the game. GameSpot, reporting it at the time, described the worst case as the complete erasure of one's root directory. The worst case, not the guaranteed outcome. The same reporting noted that no full deletions had been reported. A small group sat with the decision. Co-founders Alex Seropian and Jason Jones with Doug Zartman, who ran the company's press, operations director Diane Donohue, and sales and marketing director David Joost. They could post a warning and a downloadable patch and let the rare case take care of itself, or they could also recall every copy that had already gone out, even though they expected very few machines to ever meet the exact conditions. They chose the recall. Bungie's own statement at the time. Recalling a product is a difficult decision to make, but Bungie believes strongly it is the right thing to do. Donohue called the plant in Atlanta and told the managers to stop pressing and hold every shipment that had not already left. Joost got on the phone to retailers telling them to refuse deliveries arriving at their docks, then set about getting months of purchase orders reissued in days. Zartman worked the press list, and the copies that came back were fixed by hand, one at a time. Workers opened each carton, then each box, pulled the jewel case, cut the shrink wrap, took out the old disc and destroyed it, dropped in a corrected one, rewrapped it, and repacked it. The correction also had to be legible from outside the box. Joost's rework put a new UPC label on every unit, so the register would read it as a different product, and a bright red sticker on the box marking it as version 1.1, which is what Bungie's own statement had promised buyers they would find. Every recovered unit needed one, and Donohue had ordered stickers against the whole 200,000 run. A corrected master was rushed to Atlanta overnight, with a duplicate sent by a second carrier in case the first did not arrive. Donohue flew down to supervise, out of a Chicago hit that weekend by a blizzard that was canceling flights as she stood at the counter. New production began at 7 in the morning on Monday, January 4th, 1999. Then FedEx lost the stickers. Donohue had carried 16,000 with her. The rest had been shipped and could not be found. She called around until she found a printer who could produce 25,000, which was exactly enough to complete the CompUSA order. The same retailer whose penalty clause Seropian had priced at $250,000. Then the factory lost power. An explosion took the plant down entirely, and Donohue stood on the floor with the line dead. A customer service representative, she recalled, looked around the dead plant and told the room they had a new client, and the client's name was Job, the one out of the Bible who loses everything. The power came back in 20 minutes. Shortly before midnight on the Tuesday, Donohue and the loading dock crew watched the truck carrying the last of the reshipment leave the factory. She brought out a cheesecake she had ordered and threw a small party on the dock. By Thursday, January 7th, The corrected version was back on store shelves. From the day the recall began to the day fixed copies returned was about 10 days, most of it across a holiday stretch. GameSpot's coverage put a question to Bungie that went unanswered: why the bug had not been caught earlier by the company's own QA team in Chicago. Bungie did not answer it publicly. Years later, Bungie co-founder Alex Seropian put the total cost at around $800,000. His own later estimate not an audited line item, folding the recall together with the penalties for missing the deadline. Asked about the recall by GameSpot in 2000, Seropian said it was one of those defining moments that they had a few options open to them and that he was pretty proud they did what he thought was the right thing. It certainly didn't bankrupt us, he said. We survived it, but it didn't help. The $200,000 was inventory sitting on pallets and trucks. It was never a tally of ruined machines, and there is no evidence of anything close to that many people harmed. How many copies were caught before they reached anyone is not in the record either. Bungie shipped the patch anyway, 3 days later. What it would not do was let the discs already on the road stand, so it bought back its own shipment at enormous cost, because the downside, however unlikely, meant doing real damage to a stranger's computer. Writing in the Chicago Reader, Bill Mahan reported that day one sales of the corrected version equaled the total sales of the first Myth. They had unshipped a game and rebuilt it by hand, and the market met them at the door. The fix was 15 kilobytes. Standing behind it took 10 days, and they still ran out of stickers.